What's up, guys and gals? Well, I never thought that I would be doing a customer states video since I deal with motorcycles. But, oh my dear Lord. So, I had to deal with this guy 10 or so years ago at a shop I worked at, and it does some work for him. And ended up, he bought this bike through the shop that I was working for, and at one of my jobs as a tech was to go over all of said bikes, which I did. The bike was running fine, tires were good at the time, everything would pass the state inspection, so life moves on. So I left that company back in 2018 and started my own business. And so he reaches out to me, I don't know, a few months back, says he wants this one, which is a 2003 Suzuki Marauder 800. He wants it serviced, and that he's got a fork seal leaking that he wants me to fix, and to check out the rest of the bike and tell him anything else that's possibly wrong that needs to be fixed. So, simple enough, right? So I go ahead and finally my lift was cleared yesterday, and I had already ordered the fork seals. So I went ahead and removed, repaired, and replaced said forks. As you can tell, I haven't even wiped all the oil off of it yet. So after that, I decided to go ahead and do a walk around to see what else did I need to talk to him about. Well, the first thing, which was quite simple, was just the ignition switch. It didn't want to cut on and off, so a little cleaning, boom, it's good to go. And as I was going by, I stepped down to this, and I think you guys can see that you can see no daylight between the oil and the cover. So let's pop off the cap, and it smells like gas and oil mix. So the mechanic knows it is because it is a carbureted unit, 2 units, not gravity fed either, but pumped up, so there's going to be fuel everywhere after it sits for so long that it starts making its way down into the crankcase. Boom. So it's going to need oil change. So moving on from the oil change, start looking around at the tire situation, and then look around and realize that the codes on it down there say that the back tire was made in 2013, the front tire was manufactured in 2012, which would have been fine. You know, you can get away with it if it's sitting on a shelf dried. I think they like average 5 years. I think it got a shelf life, and then 2 or 3 years after the fact. But this thing was put on, from my guessing, around the area between 2014 and 2016, somewhere in that area. So at minimum, these tires have been on here for 8 years. Then I'll also circle, because you can see that the rubber is starting to flake off from these tires. And so that's another part of the list. And then as I was right here, I realized that, I think you can see that, maybe get it to, yeah, you can kind of see that frozen link right there, and there's one right there. I told him about that, and he said, well, I've been putting axle grease on it. And I'm like, yeah, you don't put axle grease on a chain. It's not designed for it, and it picks up every contaminant in the world as it goes along, which is probably the reason the chain is now useless, destroyed. And I even look at I think they feel a little sharp. The hell, they might even be done. I can't tell. I had to clean it. It looked like it got some shit. Okay, so now we got tires, chain, oil. So now I move on around, and I checked this when I took the things off. Front brakes. You can see it's really hard, but they're done. Back brakes, adjuster all the way in on the drum. It's done. So let's recap. Oh, and the battery is also starting to fail because it's not spinning over fast enough with the jump box. So I'm not sure. It could be because it's got too much oil in the system that it's choking it, and I don't really want to try to crank it because it's going to throw it everywhere. But that's neither here nor there. So, yes, I wrote down the front and rear brakes. The oil needs to be changed. Front and rear tires, the chain, the rear, the rear brake light sticks on the switch, that's no big deal. Possible battery and the gas and the oil. So I explained to the customer everything that was going on, and he argued me tooth and nail that it was fine, leave it. And one other thing I forgot. The you can kind of see it. There's a hose that goes from under the petcock, goes around to the other side, and the fuel pump's over here. And the fuel pump, they cut a connection in there, and this piece over here was like holding on by about that much, and the hose was too big. And so it finally started pushing off and started pouring gas everywhere. So I fixed that too. But he told me that I should have caught that 10 years ago when I did the first inspection, because I'm the only person that's touched the bike. Now tell me, why in the hell would I have been looking at that if it wasn't leaking? Not my job. So to make sure the bike's safe to ride. And I did. And it was. So I don't even know if it has anything to do with me. If I'd have seen it, I would have fixed it. So here we are. So what do we do? What do I do? The guy's just, he don't want to do any of this. He doesn't want to be safe. He just wants to basically make sure there's no gas leaking out of it and get it. So biggest reason I'm making this video is to have proof that it was in here, that I told him all the safety issues. I have it also on the documents and the text. So if he goes down the road at 80 miles an hour and that back tire or that front tire decides it no longer wants to be here, then he's going to have a problem that I've already told him was going to happen. So anyway, so that's it. So customer states. I'm sure there's plenty of other motorcycles out there, but I think it's the first one I've gotten that didn't want any of the work done. Odd. Alright guys, well, thanks again for watching, listening, subscribe, follow, blah blah blah, whatever they want you to do. Hell, I don't know. I don't really care. But you guys have a great evening, a great week, and y'all stay safe out there.